Hey everyone, welcome back to another Chart With Me video. I'm LaKiesha and I make these videos to help you become better traders. And today we are going to talk about US30, and this is the markup from last week. And as you can see, price pretty much played out almost exactly, but more to the downside. So price broke through all of these levels right here. It didn't quite get down to 37 this week, but it did stop in this zone and then reversed up. This part was all today. So maybe a little bit hard to see, but I wanted to get all of the information inside of the screen. But sells definitely played out on US30. So let's go ahead as we normally do and start off on the weekly time frame. Weekly time frame. And then I'm going to go ahead and delete all of the drawings so that way we can start fresh. Actually, let me do this and make it a little bit bigger so we can all see it. All right, there we go. So now, if we look at the weekly time frame, then last week I talked about this really strong bearish engulfing candle and what this means. And if you don't know or haven't seen that, then go ahead and check out last week's video. But right here, we can see that this week closed bearish, but then it also has this really strong rejection wick to the downside. So that doesn't mean that we're 100% out of the woods when it comes to price reversing or anything like that. We just don't know. We just have to go down to those lower time frames and just let the market tell us what's going to actually happen. So if we look at this, we see that there is a weekly support right here, mainly because we have all of these rejection candles. We have 4 of them, or at least rejection wicks. And then we also have a support right here as well that happened months ago because each of these candles are 1 week. So let's go ahead and get a little bit more information on the daily time frame. So daily right there. And before we do that, I want to say if you're not already, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, mainly because I share so many tips and trading hacks and things like that, all for your benefit to help you become better traders. So go ahead and tap that follow button on Instagram. All right, so back to this. So when it comes to the daily time frame, there are some things that I do want to mark off, some things that are really obvious to me. And the first thing that is super obvious is right here up at the top, right around 40,000. One of the things that I'm seeing is a resistance level, a really strong resistance level right here, because if you look at it, it formed resistance and then price just sold off tremendously. Now, granted, each one of these candles are a daily candle, so it took several days, actually a couple of weeks, for this to fully play out to where it's at right now, but really helpful information. The other thing that I see, and you probably noticed that I'm making these lines really skinny because as we go down to lower time frames, it's going to be really big. So another thing that I see is this support level right here around 38.088. So I'm using a capital com chart. So when you look at your own chart, you may have a different one. It may be slightly different, but just know that it'll be around here. And then another thing that I want to draw off here on the daily time frame is actually this little support level. So we have this strong bearish candle, we have this weak bearish candle, and then we have a weak bullish candle, and then a sort of a strong bearish candle as well. So I want to mark that off because essentially right here, price broke support. So I definitely want to mark off that on the daily because that's where it happened. And then there's another level here on the daily that I do want to mark off is right here, another support that was formed, and then a strong bearish engulfing candle formed here. So right now, this is looking really, really good to me. And if you look at the way these candles are forming, price was bullish at some point, mostly bullish, formed a resistance, and then this whole side is basically correcting the move. And now it's looking like with today's candle, this all happened within the last, I want to say 3 hours of the stock market closing. So I just watched it. I didn't touch it because it's Friday. But anyway, but it's looking like the move next week could potentially correct this move. So that's why I said it doesn't necessarily mean that price will continue bearish or reverse. We just got to wait to see what the market's going to do. So that's why I'm marking off all these levels, because I want to have zones set up to be able to take trades from. So now I'm really satisfied with the daily time frame. Let's go down to the H4 time frame. All right, so if we reset the chart and scoot this over a bit, now we got a little bit more information here on the charts. So if we make this a little bit bigger, I do want to adjust this top line to sit right on top of the resistance level, right here, almost at 40,000 perfect. This level is still looking good because we have this strong, a relatively strong support level right here. We got a break and then we have a retest. So we went down and retest this and then sold off tremendously. This line is looking really good, although I do want to adjust it so that way it's right around 39,000 flat. And then we also have this break here, and then we have a lot of strong bearish momentum. And I do want to adjust this bottom line to sit almost at 38,000 flat. So mainly because we have all of this support right here, and then we also have these rejections right here. So far this H4 time frame is looking really good. So let's go down to the H2 time frame and make some more adjustments as necessary. So I'm looking at this time frame, and really the only thing that, actually there's a couple things that I want to mark off here. So the first thing that I'm noticing is this level right here. So if you look at last week's chart, you'll notice that we also marked this off, mainly because this is basically a consolidation zone for this particular market, and I won't be trading really anything inside of that unless I get some better market structure on the way up. But this was not super clean price action for me. So I'm just marking that off. And then another thing I want to mark off is this little resistance level right here around 38,180. So mainly because, let me zoom out so I can zoom in. So mainly because if we look at this level, price formed a support right here, then it formed a resistance, basically creating an area of consolidation. And if you go back to the beginning of this video, not right now, but go back, you'll be able to see that I had this marked off because this was basically a consolidation zone, and I was waiting for price to break out of consolidation. But when it finally did that, it wasn't in my when I finally did that, it wasn't in my trading session, so, or at least my trading time. It was in the same session, but not my trading time. So I didn't take this trade, especially with it being a Friday, which is insane. This move is crazy. So anyway, so on the H2 time frame, everything else is looking really good. The levels that we drew before look really good. And now I want to go to the H1 time frame and actually I'm going to readjust this so that way we can see all of the data. So now the candles look tiny, but we can still see some market structure here. So this looks good, still like this, all of this still looks really good. So let's talk about my game plan for this upcoming week. So since we had price come down, consolidate here, what price may do this upcoming week, it may come into kind of this zone right here, and we need to wait to see if price is going to break up above this level or if it's going to reject it. Because if it doesn't if it does reject, then that tells us that this is basically a break, a really strong break and retest, and then price is potentially coming back down here. Or if price breaks up above this level and holds, then there could be an opportunity for price to retest the support. It'll have to break through this level here, but then it could continue all the way up here. So with next week being the first week of the month, there is the potential for a really strong move on next Friday, I believe, which is NFP, which is non-foreign payrolls, and that information is talked about every first Friday of the month. So anyway, so those are just some of the things to keep in mind when it comes to trading. And on H1, this is a really big move. So let me zoom out and zoom into this area right here. So since this is a really big correction, there are a couple things that could happen. So price, as you can see, it started off insanely. It started off slowly, but then it picked up steam, especially in this candle. But then this candle closed bullish, but it was a weak bullish. So price could retrace some to some point, maybe come back down here. You just never know, and then continue up. So let me just draw that out actually really quick. This is how I want to see it on my chart when I come back to the market. So it may come back to here or some other place, but let's just say it comes back here, and then it could correct, come back, correct this move. So that could be a possibility. That's one thing that could happen, or price could potentially come down here, continue to push further down, come below all of these candles right here. Actually, I'm seeing something that I do want to correct. And the thing I want to correct is right here. I actually want to move this down because we have these supports and all these rejections. So I didn't see that before. That's why we zoomed in. Good thing we zoomed in. So anyway, this is, let me draw that again because I need the path. So price could come down with a lot of volume, and it could come down to this level and it could correct. Okay, that's one. Or a second thing it could do. The third thing, it could come down with a lot of volume. Stop somewhere in here. This point is just arbitrary. And then it could retest this level and continue down. So let's see. So we didn't draw any levels down here. So I actually want to go back really quick. And then I want to end this video because it's getting kind of long. But I want to draw off this level right here. Because if price corrects, then it could come to right here around 37,727-ish zone, or price could come, it could come to here as well, because we do have a lot of rejection wicks down here. I think it'll probably come to like this zone first, or it has to come through this zone first, right around 37,600. And then the last place, at least that I would target, would be right here. And then really quick, let's do our top-down analysis and adjust our levels. So this looks good right here on the H2 time frame. This looks really good, and I have it right here, not necessarily sitting on the candles, but on the wicks, because it rejected pretty much the same area twice. And then this looks good on H1. So let's go to H2. Let's go to H1. Okay, this is sitting perfectly right there. And then, okay, yep, we didn't draw anything else. Okay, great. So now this is looking good. So basically, when it comes to my game plan, I'm looking for some sort of steep retracement, and then I just have to wait for the market to tell me what it wants to do. If it forms some market structure in here, then I'll draw off of those lines and do kind of the same thing. I'm usually waiting for some sort of breakout out of a consolidation. That's typically the way that I trade, and based on the data in my journal, those trades have been working out the best for me. I do try other methods, but this is mostly what I do, probably like 90% of the time, especially when I wait for my signal. That's really important because otherwise it doesn't work out. So anyway, so this is my trading plan. If you love this video, go ahead and give it a like. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already, and I will see you next time.